Sean on Sunday at the MCG?
Yeah, I was really happy. I thought that was a really clinical performance on Sunday, so very happy with that. We do need to see Peter Forrest at some stage. We haven't given it too much thought. That's tomorrow's problem. Likely Pete Forrest might get a go, but we still got to just have a lot of discussion around that. I'm not sure yet where he fits in, but we'll have some discussion leading up to the game.
No batsman obviously is putting their hand up to have a rest after just one match.
Nobody wants to rest, which is great. The guys want to keep playing. They want to play. They realise we're developing a really good talent pool now. There's places are at a premium, and there's a lot of competition for places. So I guess nobody wants to relinquish their position, which is perfect. It's right, and the competition for places is excellent.
And I guess among the Quicks, they're all keen to get out on the Wacker.
Yeah, they're all very keen to get out on the Wacker. Hilf has come in on standby. Because obviously with Brett being injured, Hilf is on standby, so likely that we'll have the same attack play. But again, that's tomorrow's problem.
With Coach Forrest possibly coming in, how important is it for him to have, say, blokes like Ricky, Michael Clark, Michael Hussey in the same team, helping him through his debut?
Yeah, look, it's really important, and that was one of the reasons we've kept the squad together, because the value of Ricky and Mike is sensational around the group. They come in, they still, I reckon, our best trainers. They're still definitely our fittest players, and for Pete Forrest and the younger guys to be around those two is inspirational for them. They certainly get a really good indication of what is required to become an international player and have a sustained career as an international player. So really, really instrumental that they're still around the group. It is really important that
senior pair plus Michael Clark, I mean, would you look at resting them at all during this one-day series?
I guess again, it's hard to say where and when and how we're going to rest them, because results determine how you get into the competition. Our plan was always to start very well, and then through the middle give some development development opportunities to some players, and then pick our best team again at the closing stages and hopefully the finals of the competition. But results along the way determine that, so. That is the plan, and we'll just see how that unfolds.
To see Shaun Marsh get a few runs yesterday, you must have been pretty pleased.
I was very pleased for Shaun. Shaun's been through a real tough time over the last 2 months. His confidence took a little bit of a knock, and so good I spoke to him last night, and really good to hear that he was a lot more chirpy and a lot more upbeat, and amazing what a couple of runs do for you.
Yeah. So do you think it's got his mojo back just after one knock, or do you need to see him more?
Oh, look, I think it needs to be sustainable now. It's a great start for him, and Shaun's a player that when he scores well, he sort of kicks on. So I'm hoping that he just keeps kicking on, and then gets all his confidence back, and then he comes back into the international arena at some stage and is able to sustain a good career here, because he's certainly got the talent.
Can he ever force his way onto a plane to the West Indies by sheer weight of Shield runs?
Definitely, he can, and that would be his path for the West Indies. He'd have to keep knocking the door down with the weight of Shield runs, and I'm confident he's going to do that, and I really hope he does.
Would you look at playing him at all in the one-day series, or do you see him, the importance of him having to play Shield cricket to get that weight of runs superseding these?
We looked at him coming back to the Shield, and the Shield's a really good breeding ground for the young players, and Shaun needs to get his runs and get his form and get his confidence back in the Shield. So I'm not sure. We'll see how that unfolds later in the one-day series. But for now, we content to see him getting runs in the Shield consistently and doing it and doing it day after day, and then putting himself in the frame for the West Indies.
Was he a victim of not having the schedule, not having the Shield during the Test series?
Look, I've been asked that a million times, Andrew. We knew what we were getting. You know, whether it was right, whether it was wrong. That's the way it was, and that's the way of cricket these days. You know, you go in and out of format so quickly that if you want to play at the highest level, you got to be able to adjust. So we certainly can't use that as an excuse.
I think it was like Shane Watson and Brad Haddon are playing grade cricket this weekend.
Yeah.
Keen to see Otto back in action.
Yeah, I am. It's been it's been frustrating for us and frustrating for Shane. It really has. And I speak to Shane weekly as well, and just keep track of where he is. And I guess it'd be true to say that we thought we'd have Shane back a lot earlier. We haven't. But you know what? It's really good because he's built his body up to where it needs to be, and hopefully we can get sustainable performance out of Shane once he gets back in. So hope it goes well for him in grade cricket this week, and then we can reassess as to where we think he is, and hopefully we can get him back into the one-day competition.
Early impressions of Matthew Wade in Australian colours?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Matthew Wade's been outstanding. But that was what I expected from Matthew. He's a terrier. He's a fighter. He's got a lot about him, and you know he's got a good technique when he bats. He's very good behind the stumps. So it's great, you know, and it's great that we've got so much competition in every place in the Australian cricket team at the moment. Nobody's assured of a spot. Performance gets you in the team, and performance keeps you in the team. And it's good to have those guys pushing from behind. So really happy. I'd love to see how that competition unfolds later on.
Would you ever consider playing him just as a specialist batsman if you had to squeeze Ads back in?
Look, we wouldn't rule that out the equation. You know, it's again, we've got so many other batters though, which are also knocking on the door. So I'm not sure, and it is an option. It is something we could do. Matthew Wade plays spin very well, so you know it could happen sometime down the line. But you know, certainly haven't had much discussion around that at the moment.
The Triangular Series in Australia used to be the big ODI event outside the ICC tournaments. Does it feel that way this year because numbers are significantly less than the 2020s and Tests, and generally ODI cricket? Where do you see it?
Well, I think ODI cricket is very strong. I really do. I think there's a lot of support. You just have to look at the World Cup last year and see the amount of support there was around ODI cricket. I think cricket can definitely sustain all three formats, and I'm pretty sure ODI cricket's here to stay for a period of time.
Does it worry you when you see half-empty stadiums? Does it worry the players going out there?
No, look, not really. You're always going to have a big hype for the 2020s. I mean, the Test. I think the support around Australia this year has been superb for the team. Full houses at most venues for the Test match. Big crowds in the 2020s, and they were all very happy. We didn't think we'd get as many as 31 or 32 the other night, and to have that crowd there was really good too. So look, I think it's sustainable.
You see, like you said, spoke about the World Cup. It's usually it builds up to the World Cup and there's a lot of support around the World Cup. It's the events in between the World Cups where they're not leading up to something. Does that sort of bother you as players?
No, definitely not, because that is one form, you know, and you're always working towards another competition. There's a Champions Trophy next year, and then there's a World Cup in 2015. So you're always building up and thinking about those competitions. You know, it is the one competition where you're likely to try different players and rotate players more easily than in any of the other formats. So no, I think as long as there's a World Cup, ODI cricket will always be very strong.
Did you take much notice of the England-Pakistan series?
I did what? Yeah, I did.
Did you take much notice of the result?
Of course I did. I did, yeah.
What, I mean, did you think it was a big blip for England, a big jump for Pakistan?
Look, I was really impressed by how Pakistan played, I've got to be honest. The conditions were very, very suitable for them though, and I think that has to be held in isolation. That conditions definitely favoured Pakistan. But England had come out of a cold winter. They hadn't played any cricket. I don't think they were battle hardened at all, and I think that came out in the way they played. They'll be properly prepared for their summer and for when we get there at some stage.
Would you like the Ashes to start now?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it actually. I wish it was this. This summer in England. But no, we're building nicely. We're bubbling away, and I'm very happy with where the team's at the moment, and confident that we're just getting better and better.
Just back on Shane Watson, how much cricket do you want to see him play before you look at choosing him?
Look, Tanya, I don't think we can put a time frame on that. We've got to be happy, and he's got to be happy. He's got to be happy that his body can sustain batting and bowling. So I'm not sure really. As long as we all happy and he fits the bill, well, then I'm sure we'll consider bringing him back in.
Do you still see him as one of the most important players in Australian cricket, given what he can do with bat and ball?
Yeah, look, he is. There's no doubt he is. But people who've been given opportunity through this summer have all stepped up. So again, that's the competition for places around our side, and the options we have available are starting to get better and better every day.
Last couple guys.
Do you look at him as an opener now for Tests, or do you want to?
Well, he can bat. He can bat anywhere. I think ultimately he'll bat down the order and bowl at some stage. We need to have that discussion. We've broached it once or twice before, but nothing definite. And then I guess it's just where best he fits for us, and where best it fits for him. He is going to be doing some bowling, and Michael's used him wisely through the period that he had him before this year's summer. And it's how he can sustain that bowling and open the batting that's going to be the question.
And the progress of Cummins and Patterson, Ricky, are they like?
Yep, Patterson bowled at us in Melbourne, so he's coming back. Patterson we could see at the back end of the one-day series. Cummins we probably won't see until around the West Indies time, if we're comfortable that he's done everything possible, and we're comfortable to select him. So Cummins West Indies, Patterson end of the one-day series.
And Brad, are we any chance to see him, Brad Haddin, in that middle phase of the one day to help the young guys through as a leader?
Look, I probably couldn't commit to that just yet. There's been talk for, yes, but again, it'll be results driven. It'll be how everybody's going at that time. But Brad is certainly nowhere near out the equation. We still regard Brad very highly. I thought he was okay. He did the job through the Indian series. Yeah, he would have liked probably a little bit more runs, but didn't get that much opportunity to get massive scores because our top order generally did the job. So competition for places again is great, and good to see Wadey pushing him. It's likely we'll take two keepers to the West Indies anyway, so it'll be a nice little internal battle going on, and I look forward to seeing who comes out trumps in that.
Are there any players you're keeping an eye on today that you don't know much about?
I'll leave that one to the analyst. We'll have the game tape. We've got a meeting tonight. We'll run through most of it. I think we've got it covered, Tanya.